You sit down on the couch, the day is over, everything is technically fine, and something is off. You are not tired exactly, not sad exactly, not stressed. You are just nothing. You have probably been telling yourself you are burned out, or lazy, or in a slump, that the caffeine will kick in, that other people have it worse, that you just need to push through. But here is what almost nobody talks about. Your body has two protective settings, not one, and the second one looks nothing like stress. It looks like calm, but it is not calm. Today I'm going to walk you through 6 signs your vagus nerve is frozen, not just stressed, and how to actually tell the difference. Because if you have been trying to solve a shutdown with more effort, you have been fighting the wrong problem. Let's start with what your body is doing right now. Everyone talks about a stressed nervous system, the tight chest, the jaw, the wired, tired feeling, the 3 a.m. thoughts. That is one branch of what the nervous system does under threat. It is loud, it is obvious. It is the version we have a language for. But bodies are not just on or off. There is a second branch of the protective response, and it goes the opposite direction. It does not speed you up, it powers you down. Most people who are in it get told they are depressed, or lazy, or unmotivated, or that they just need to try harder. So they try harder, and it gets worse, because you cannot fix a shutdown with effort. Effort is exactly what a shutdown was designed to prevent. To understand what is actually happening, we have to talk briefly about the vagus nerve, because that is the wire this whole thing runs on. The vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve. It is long. It wanders. Its name literally means wandering. It runs from your brainstem down through your throat, past your heart and your lungs, and all the way into your gut. It is the main highway of the calm-down system in your body, the parasympathetic branch, and it does not just have one setting. In everyday life, it is what lets you sit down, digest a meal, meet a friend's eyes, and feel safe. That is the version you want online. But under enough stress, for long enough, the same nerve helps flip the body into a very different mode. A shutdown mode, a power down, and here's the metaphor I want you to hold on to for the rest of this video. Your nervous system has a circuit breaker. When the load on the electrical system in a house gets too high, the breaker does not politely dim the lights. It trips. Every light in the house goes off at once. That is not damage, that is protection, because if the breaker did not trip, the wires would burn. Your vagus nerve, under enough chronic overload, does the same thing. It trips. And when people say the vagus nerve is frozen, this is what they are pointing at. In the research, this state has a few names. The freeze response, hypoarousal, functional freeze, dorsal shutdown. The specific frameworks that describe it, like polyvagal theory, are still being debated by neuroscientists. But the phenomenon itself, a nervous system that flips into shutdown when it decides the load is too much, is well established across decades of trauma and stress. Research. So let's talk about how to know if that is what is happening to you. Sign 1. The wrong kind of calm. Real calm feels open. Your shoulders drop. Your breath widens. You are still here, just at a slower pace. It is quiet, but it is not warm. You are not relaxed. You are distant, like you are watching your own life from behind glass. If the calm feels like peace, it is peace. If the calm feels like distance, it is not. Emotional flatness. When someone asks how you are, and you cannot answer honestly, because there is not really an answer. You are not sad. You are not happy. You are not angry. The dial that used to have colors on it has gone gray. This is not the same as being an even-tempered person. Even-tempered people can still find the feeling when they look for it. In freeze, when you look for the feeling, there is nothing there to look at. Sign 3. Exhaustion that sleep does not touch. You sleep 8 hours. You sleep 9 hours. You wake up already tired. Coffee does not really do anything anymore. This is not the same as being overworked, where rest actually helps. This is a tiredness that does not respond to rest, because the tiredness is not about your energy. It is about your system being offline. Sign 4. Small tasks feel impossibly heavy. Sending one email takes 3 days. Answering a message takes a week. Getting off the couch takes 10 steps of self-negotiation. From the outside, nothing is that hard. From the inside, the smallest input requires an enormous act of will. That is what a tripped breaker feels like from the switch side. You flip, and nothing turns on. Sign 5. Muted pleasure. The song you used to love plays and it is technically nice, but the volume is off. The food you used to crave arrives and it is fine. Your favorite person walks in and you are glad, but the gladness is at a distance. This is not that nothing good is happening. It is that nothing good is quite landing. Sign 6. The pull to be alone that is not peace. You cancel plans. You leave the message unread. You avoid the group chat. Not because you want quiet. Not because you are an introvert recharging. Because contact, even easy, kind contact, feels like too much input for a system that is trying to conserve every last watt. Withdrawal that feels like relief is one thing. Withdrawal that feels like static is another. If 2 or 3 of those landed for you, that does not mean you are broken. It also does not mean you have any specific diagnosis. These signs overlap with depression, burnout, long stress, grief, and a dozen other things. This is education, not medical advice. If you have been feeling like this for weeks or months and you cannot shake it, please talk to a doctor or a therapist. There is real, effective support for what you are describing, and reaching out for it is not a failure of willpower. Now, why is this happening so much more now than it used to? The freeze response evolved for one very specific situation. When you cannot fight and you cannot run and the threat is bigger than you, the body's last option is to go still, to conserve, to play dead until the danger passes. In the ancestral environment, that was rare, and it was short. A predator moved on. A fall ended, and the body came back online. In modern life, the equivalent runs for months. A job you cannot quit. A news feed you cannot stop. An inbox that never empties. A relationship you have not figured out yet. A world where the threats are not lions but notifications, and none of them ever fully resolve. The nervous system does exactly what it was built to do when the load stays too high for too long, and there is no way to fight it and no way to run from it. This is why the calm does not feel like calm. It is not peace. It is power down. So, how do you actually come out of it? And here is where most advice gets this wrong. You do not calm a frozen system down. It is already down. You gently bring it back up. Reset a breaker slowly, not violently. The first thing that helps is slow, rhythmic movement. Not the gym, not a workout. A 10-minute walk, rocking in a chair, swaying while you brush your teeth, stepping outside just to stand. The reason this works is that gentle, repetitive movement gives the nervous system a small, safe signal that it is okay to come back online without asking it to do more than it can. You are not lighting the whole stove. You are turning the pilot light on. The second thing that helps is any low-effort sound coming from your own body. Humming, sighing on a long exhale, singing under your breath, even talking to a pet in a soft voice. The reason this works is that the vibration through your throat and chest gently activates parasympathetic pathways, the same nerve we have been talking about from the inside out. It is one of the quietest ways to remind the system that safety is possible. The third thing that helps is what researchers call co-regulation. Sit near someone who is calm. A friend, a partner, a parent, a dog, a cat. You do not have to talk. You do not have to explain anything. Your nervous system is not just yours. It reads the systems around it. When you are near a body that is regulated, yours borrows the rhythm. This is one of the most well-supported findings in stress research. We are wired to come back online in the presence of safe others. Alone in a shutdown, we tend to stay shut down. Near safety, we tend to slowly turn back on. Here is what I most want you to hear before you go. You are not broken. Your nervous system is not malfunctioning. It flipped a breaker to protect you from a load it decided you could not carry. That is not weakness. That is your body doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem is not the breaker. The problem is that modern life keeps overloading the panel. The way back is not force, it is gentleness. One hum, one person nearby, small returns, and you might be surprised how much comes back online when you stop trying to force the lights. If any of the 6 signs landed for you, tell me in the comments which one you noticed most. I read them. If this helped, a like helps YouTube show this video to someone else who has been wondering why just calm down never quite works for them. Next video, I'm going to walk through what people call high-functioning anxiety, why it hides so well on the outside, and what it is actually doing inside the body. Subscribe so it lands in your feed. Thanks for watching.